Now, once you did all of this, and I know the answer, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Yeah, what do you got?
Did you find that you actually, like, when you cut out the toxic people and you stepped into your light, did you find that you were actually in a better place than you were in terms of your heart?
Yeah, it's immediate. It's funny. The minute you cut that cancer out, your soul knows what needs to be done. Your brain and heart get in the way. So once that all is aligned, at least this is how I think, you feel like this weight is just lifted off your chest.
My guest today is Brian Esposito, a globally recognized entrepreneur, founder and CEO of Esposito Intellectual Enterprises and CEO of Diamond Lake USA. Ranked among the world's top CEOs multiple times, Brian leads more than 115 companies across 25 industries and is passionate about building businesses, helping people, and creating a lasting impact. Hi, friends. Welcome back to Call Cut with Angelique. Today, I have an incredible guest, and this is actually a good friend of mine, Brian Esposito, and he's joining us, and he's going to tell us all about all the amazing things that he does because he is the definition of entrepreneur. He has his hands in all different industries and all different things. Brian, I am so happy to have you here. Thank you for being on Call Cut with Angelique.
Now, some people are going to get mad, but this is definitely going to be my favorite one ever. So excited for us to finally do this. It's been a minute since we've been talking about it, so I'm glad we got to sit down and have a great discussion together.
Yeah, and thank you for carving some time out for us because you have a lot going on.
So do you, miss. So
Yeah.
come on, cut it out.
Yeah. We're both kind of always juggling all these things, and it's like, oh, sorry, can't. No problem. I get it. We totally get it. So, Brian, why don't you tell our audience a little bit more about you, how you started, and how you got where you are?
Absolutely. Great question. And anybody hearing this for the 100th time, I apologize. But always out there as an entrepreneur, now over 25 years, just building, growing, and starting businesses. I never worked in the corporate world or for anybody else. Just always went out into the world and find a need, fill a need, create opportunities, earn, and create win-win opportunities for everybody involved. I love that. It's my favorite thing in the world. So the late 90s, I was born into the beauty industry. My dad built quite an empire in that world, quite a name for himself, had the most profitable stores in the industry in the 80s and the 70s and 80s. He sold out in the late 80s to a company called Milo. A lot of his stores on the East Coast are where you would see his Sally Beauty, for example, today. And 10 years after that, the non-compete ended. So I got back into the business and built the first B2B, B2C e-commerce platform for beauty. Reason I built a website and that type of environment was it was extremely expensive at the time to hire somebody or hire a firm to build some kind of website. So I said, no, can't do that. Taught myself how to code. And I also was building it because I was driving around Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, trying to sell nail polish, shampoos, and lotions and potions and hair dyes to estheticians, hairstylists, salon and spa owners. And my heart bleeds for sales reps in that space because it's impossible. I mean, you can never get the buyer's time or attention because they're there. It's a service industry. They're there working. And if you do get their attention, they always get things cheaper and they haggle you on price and they beat you up and it's just a mess. So I said, there's got to be a better way. So I brought people to me. So again, great timing because that era, there wasn't anything out there for it and had a unique selection of products that people were looking for. So the site just took off, which kind of a detriment because at that time I was very young and had quite the success without the right seasoning or the right maturing. So not the best thing in the world. Not that I was cocky or arrogant, but I definitely needed my ass kicked a little bit more before achieving that kind of success. And
Yeah.
so I launched over 1,200 brands. We were Amazon's first beauty retailer. I was Jet.com's first retailer. And first to launch Google Wallet, which was a big failure, but it was pretty cool that some Italian kid in Jersey got to launch this incredible technology and got to work with every celebrity, entertainer, musician, actress you can think of on developing and distributing their products, right? So it built a great mousetrap. And from there, I just kept building and acquiring and self-funding companies, and I wanted to make this really I wanted to make a pie that I controlled. And the reason why I wanted to control it was I was the first distributor of brands that were made in their bathtub that became billion-dollar brands. And my model was so wrong because I had no equity in those brands. I wasn't thinking equity. I was thinking I was so grateful to have the product and the distribution. But when those brands sold to an Estee Lauder, a L'Oreal, a Revlon, an LVMH for a lot of money, I had no upside in that sale. And also, I lost the brand because those other companies have their own distribution models. So I needed to fix that. And the only way I could fix that was own as much as I possibly can, which put me in the music industry, put me in TV and film, put me in building technologies and investment banking. All I mean, across the board. Now I'm in over 25 different industries, but I had to learn where the bodies are buried, who the good guys are, who the bad guys are in every industry I decided to get into. And it's just turmoil. I don't know why we do this to ourselves, but it was an amazing journey. I'm here today because of everything that I went through. I wouldn't change anything, no matter how painful it was. And I'm grateful that I can smile once in a while and still standing.
Woof. Oh
That
my
was a
God.
lot.
Well,
That was one breath too, by the way.
I know. You just did like this span of decades in like a few minutes.
Yeah.
But my God, I have so many things I want to say. Well, first, what I find so interesting is we have a lot in common,
Yeah.
especially on the family end. And as you're talking, I'm laughing to myself because I think our fathers may have crossed
Oh yeah.
paths because mine was he had a premier clinical testing laboratory. He tested all of those products that
Amazing.
your dad. So I could imagine that somewhere along the way, and they were both East Coast, right?
I doubt it. I mean, we have this energy and connection that definitely stems from somewhere, so I would not doubt it at all.
Yeah, and as I'm listening to you talk, I'm like, "Oh, wow, I bet those 2 definitely crossed paths because they were in that same industry, just different facets of it."
Yeah.
Um, I love something that you said about not having the wisdom or, the experience and that you felt like you needed to get your ass kicked a few times.
Yeah.
I love that because so many people believe that to be successful is like a one-shot deal, right? That they come out of the gate and they have to be pristine and perfect and polished, and they don't realize that you can be a mess. And like so many of us are actually messes walking through it, just figuring it out as we go along.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. And bear in mind, every day at that beauty company, there was problems, and I ran that thing for 17 years. There were chaos, drama. I was getting sued because I had a product online by my actual partners. They'd actually ship me the product. I'm a licensed distributor and retailer, but then I would get a call. We have to sue you because our other distributors are upset. I'm like, I don't know how to get my head wrapped around that. Then I'm in court fighting you, who's also my ally, because you don't want to look bad to your other distributor. I'm like, nuts. And one of the most famous ones, I was in the Superior Court with Moroccan oil because I sold a 0.75 milliliter ounce of their oil on our authorized Amazon shop, and that was like, "Are you kidding me?" And that's when I started really changing my mindset. I started hating my inventory. I mean, I was obsessed with our warehouses, our inventory. We owned it. I was like proud. I'd go into the building and like I built this, missing birthdays, packing orders on Thanksgiving, dealing with customers on Christmas. Like, when you're an entrepreneur and you're in business, it's 24/7. We don't have bankers hours. And the ones that make bankers hours for themselves, they don't they don't achieve their maximum potential, but I don't knock that because they have probably a better balance of life than I will ever have. Like, I'm bred to work. That's my passion. That's my hobby. That's my outlet. That's my gym. Fill in the Mad Libs, everything. That's who I am. So I walked in one day and I hated my inventory. I was getting highs. I'm like, this is all dollars. I want it off the shelves. None of these people, all these brands, very few of them are loyal, are allies, are friends. The minute they get a better deal, they just cut me off or fighting with them. And I hate the problem with me is I kind of love humanity, and I hate that about me. Like, I like people, I like doing things with people, but I'm always disappointed by them. Like every chance you get. So how do you do that and not get bitter and jaded? It's a psychological balancing act. every day. And the best approach to handling that is firing people from your life that don't mesh with you, or balance each other out, or you're on different frequencies or different vibrations. As cold as it may be, you have to get people out of your life that bring drama and negativity and toxicity into your life, because that's a cancer. And once you can do that and not feel guilty about it, or not feel like this guilt's the best word, then you start surrounding yourself with really good positive people, and you create this army around you. And it could just be one person, and that's fine, or it could be hundreds of people, which is finally what I've like, accomplished, but it's taken me decades.
I love this because this is it. Everything is energy, frequency, vibration, and matching that with the right people. Because you said something that hits very personal to me as well. They disappoint you
Yeah.
because you come with an open heart and you believe that everyone else is meeting you exactly where you're meeting them. And you come to find out very, very quickly that that is not the case, that a large percentage, I don't want to say 90% because I don't know the
Yeah.
numbers, but it's transactional.
I hate that.
And
I hate that word. I
right?
hate that. Yeah.
And when you're a relational person, you're out there looking for the connection because you know that you would have loyalty to
Mhm.
somebody. And then the minute they draw, you're like, what just happened? What is this fuckery? You know? So it is a really tough thing to go through. And so many people do. But what I like that you're basically saying, and folks, this is really important, is it's not personal
No.
to you. It's them, it's money,
Yeah.
right? It's how they operate. Now, once you did all of this, and I know the answer, but I'm going to
I
ask you
don't know
anyway.
the answer. Go ahead. What do you got?
Did you find that you actually, like, when you cut out the toxic people and you stepped into your light, did you find that you were actually in a better place than you were in terms of your heart?
Yeah, it's immediate. It's funny, the minute you cut that cancer out, your soul knows what needs to be done. Your brain and heart get in the way. So once that all is aligned, at least this is how I think, you feel like this weight is just lifted off your chest. And I, I hate saying this, but I think most relationships have an expiration date. And the reason for that is people go off on different paths. They get married, they get divorced. But as long as you as an individual always show up for the people that you care about when they're in need, and that's who you are, and that's your light, you're good, right? The biggest one of the biggest um things that happened to me in my life was I stopped giving other people my mindset. The minute you do that, and those some of the things you were saying, the minute you say, you gotta this one phrase will change your life. Why did that person do that? I would never do that. You can't say that, because that person was not raised in your household, didn't go through every one of your life lessons the same day, the same time, the same year that you didn't grow up in your environment, don't have your DNA, your soul, all these other things. So nobody's ever going to think, act, react the same exact way that you will. So once you can just not say that anymore, you don't hold other people accountable. You start holding yourself accountable on whatever happened to me is my actions, my reactions. It's not the other person. I allowed it to happen. So the next phase is okay, I allowed that to happen. There was a reason for it. What did I learn from it? How do I spot that person in the future wearing different clothes, different gender, and different name from doing it to me again? That to me, that's the way that I justify or rationalize some of the craziest stuff that I've been through, all on me. It's never on the other party, never on the other situation. It's just it's me. I put myself there. Now, how do I not be in that position again? And then also, what I love to do is how do I help other people maybe learn from that experience without actually going through it? Because not many people, I think, could handle the crap that I or you have been through and wake up each morning and try to do it again. Like it's not easy. I think there's a level of psychotic to me that what I'm doing, but I feel this pull and this urge to leave some kind of mark on this life and this world. Not money. No need to be a Forbes list. I think that's obnoxious and ridiculous. I just want to make sure whatever time I have here, I'm leaving some kind of positive impact that lasts a minute after I die, or a year after I die, or decades after I die.
No, I think you're 100% doing that. And, this is such a great Yeah. No, you are. And this is a great conversation, Brian, because so many people wish to be in a position like you're in, and they have a false idea of what it actually is and how people move in the world and how much bullshit you come up against. People think it's easy. People think, everything that we do is easy. We snap our fingers and we just got to where we are because you're lucky or this and that. They don't see the grinding. They don't see the part that you just said that to me, and I could get choked up about this, is the most important part. The part where you have to take full accountability. You've got to get up off the floor, dust yourself off over and over and over again, and you can't be the victim. You have to stand in that creator warrior mindset and be like, okay, this happened to me, but I am a co-creator with everything that happens in my life, whether I like it or not. And that doesn't mean that the circumstances that hit us were necessarily our fault, but how we choose to move through them afterward. As you said, that's 100% on us.
Absolutely.
And learning from our mistakes and not repeating them and then catching ourselves. I say this all the time, when I get my crazy moments, because we all do. And I say, well, I know I'm about to, the crazy card's going. Um and I bring myself down and I say, "Okay, girl, you wanna go there?" Me and the machine have a conversation, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Because if you blow up this bridge," and she's like, "Pah!" So it's like, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
"All right, I did it. Well, here we are." So I have to take that.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like when you learn to own that, it empowers you. It's actually the opposite of what people think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
No,
because you
I
can.
couldn't agree more with that. I just think the more life lessons we go through, I use the word season. I don't know why. I just love that word. We just become seasoned on what's important, what's not important. I mean, we're also, I'll speak for me, Italian, I'm Sicilian, emotional.
Me
There's so
too.
much in my DNA that just wants to flip tables over. Like I used to do that in boardrooms. Like that's embarrassing. I said, I don't want to be known as that guy, but you do it not out of, it's warranted too. It's warranted behavior when there are people in the room that are trying to steal from you or your family or your company, and which would domino into your employees and your team members trying to take advantage of you, blatantly lying to you. Like you want to scrap these people and scream in their face and like, but again, that's on them. Also, I don't want to get too wild out there, but I watch almost every night near death experiences. The NDE
Yeah.
on YouTube will change a lot of people's lives too because they have very similar experiences, different cultures, different age groups, different professions. People that would never lie about these things are sharing these vulnerable moments and what they experienced when they maybe left their body, and it's ridiculously similar across the planet. But one of my favorite parts about it, and I use this all the time, is there's a segment called Life Review, where you get it's probably a millisecond, but you see your whole life and it reviews you, especially all the crap that you did. So I say to people now, rather than fighting with them, or if I know that I'm right and they're wrong, and you're not getting anywhere with them, and there's no reason to keep it going, you're only wasting your own time and energy. I say, all I know is during your life review, you're going to revisit this experience, and you're going to know that you were wrong, and that's going to be your eye opening moment because I'm now out. So this whole life review thing also changed my life because I'm not. I want people to understand that hopefully this is not it, right? And if you're making bad decisions here during this lifetime, and hopefully you believe in some sort of afterlife, because I think that keeps people in somewhat of check, thinking if you do bad things here to good people, there's going to be some come to Jesus moment. So think about that as your North Star. Like just treat people right. It's so simple. It's the most easiest thing in the world. Is just a golden rule. And it's just everybody missed the memo. I mean, like, I really think for every 1,000 people I meet, a half of one is decent. So I don't understand what is going on. And then the last few years and everything that humanity's been through, it's just gotten worse. And I was hoping during COVID people would have realized you don't need much. A friend, little family, order a pizza, sit in your home, play a board game. Like we didn't need much. And that did not last a second after the lockdowns opened up. I mean, it just got so much worse. The obnoxious behavior, the private jets, posting Rolexes. I'm like, what is wrong with people? What is going on with your soul? What your purpose? What is your purpose? So I don't know. I feel like I need to do more in that light because I do kind of have a voice. I speak truly from the heart. And I think part of my job is to just shake people and wake them up and let them realize you're blessed, right? Especially if you're in a first world country, you got some food in the fridge, you got your lights on, you're blessed. Stop chasing garbage and obnoxious behavior and trying to be important. Like, not at all what you're supposed to be doing during this lifetime.
Woo! Okay, amen, first of all.
A woman.
And
Absolutely.
yes. So many things that you said, my goodness, it's like I gotta go through every point. But interesting what you said about the golden rule, because it is in every single spiritual text that
Hmm.
people talk about, right? They quote and misquote and understand and misunderstand, but it is there in every single one of them. So there is a universal code, if you will. Two, what you said about COVID is so interesting because I think COVID put us so far into the digital realm that people got a taste, and I will call this a false taste of fame because all of a sudden influencer culture really exploded and people were becoming visible for nothing really, right? And so the consciousness goes even deeper and deeper into the shallow
Yeah.
instead of right? And so suddenly we have more people that are leaning away toward why is my soul here? Service to others, helping other people, coming together, and they're going further to service to self and me, and the spotlight. I've said this so many times that a spotlight casts shadows,
Yeah.
but everybody seeks it, right? People
Oh,
don't seek a floodlight where we can all be illuminated. No, me. Um, the danger in this mentality is, I think, something you understand because you said your mission is to really get out there and elevate, is that we go further into the depths of this abyss of this really dangerous lower vibrational consciousness, and we get stuck.
yeah.
And we will stay with violence, with war, with greed, with lust, with competition, comparison, envy, you name it, because we're so trapped by this idea that that's our value
Yeah.
or right? Instead of understanding that none of that actually matters. Not 1 ounce of it. What you said about the NDEs is so interesting because, in the Egyptian mythology where they used to weigh the heart, Matt used to weigh the heart.
Yeah.
That is the truth. Like, if you knew what actually was important when you made that journey to the other side, you wouldn't give a rat's
Exactly.
ass about any
Exactly.
of this superficial stuff. You'd be like, "Oh my god, who do I help? How do I help them?"
Which I mean, at least in my life, that's so much more rewarding than a payment. Or I mean, like, seeing somebody light up because you believed in them, you took some time to help them. When I get to help these startup founders and entrepreneurs, like, that's my drug. That is addictive. So why people? It just seems so easy to elevate humanity just off of paying it forward. But so many people rather, again, get on that private jet, right? Or buy another watch or get another car for their garage. Like, what you could do with those resources, and a handful of people doing it continuously, everybody's better off, right? Everybody wins. So it's not going to happen in my lifetime. It's never going to happen. Humanity is completely disconnected. But we do a lot of work with things like tokenization. I think that has the ability to help elevate people's financial freedoms and help give them a sense of ownership into something. Like, those are some of the marks I'm looking forward to leaving. There's a chance. The other thing that aggravates the hell out of me, and maybe I'm just too logical with the way that I think. There's enough history to know what not to do. Everybody's got Google, and now they use AI for every answer in the world. There's enough history to say that doesn't work, and that's not even making people change their mentalities or their decisions. So I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent, but I just we both know
No.
pain, right? We both know struggle. We both know the realities of life and what we believe is important, and I just feel like if everybody, or at least the majority of people, could get their head wrapped around that, it'd be just such a better day for everybody because we're all struggling. Nobody's immune to problems. I don't care how much money you have. So
That's right.
if you could just find those couple of nuggets of what's really important and make that your church, then I'm dying to see that, and I hope we can see some more of that rather than the doom and gloom, the negativity, the chaos, all the control mechanisms that media and authorities and agencies use to keep us just trapped in this fear cycle. It's getting old,
Yep.
and I'm getting very frustrated with it because we've come too far to not evolve as humanity.
That's right. That's right. And we came here to crush that cycle. That's the whole point. We are actually moving toward the grand central sun, which is the awakening. So technically, more humans should be activating. And so
Yeah,
people like you, people like me, there's tons of others have been brought here because we create the systems that will then replace these old systems that are going to be crushed. To your point, we may not see them hit their full potential, but hopefully, if we do it right, the people under us that are coming up, these younger generations, they'll be the ones that push it forward and push it forward. But we did come here as the way showers and making
there
those.
we go.
Yeah, and we gotta kinda that's why we have these personalities that are like, "Oh, oh, you know? Did you ever wait, did you ever see Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
Oh, I just watched it last week. I'll rewatch it for the 80th time, but yes.
Remember, like, they're cutting off his arms and his legs, and he's like, "It's a mere
Yeah.
flesh wound." That's how I feel. That's me. That's you. Like,
Yeah.
we're hopping around, like, in a torso, and we're like,
Yeah.
"No, the light, the light." And I think that there's a lot of us, but they're scattered and we're inundated. Also, where we are too, the places that we are,
Yeah.
oversaturation of lower vibrational energy. I mean, they have Saturn's cube in New York City, for God's sake. I think they said Rockefeller Center, right? Um, but I do think we can get there. I mean, I know you and I, when we talked, you even told me that some of the music that you guys are doing
Yeah.
is higher frequency.
Yeah, yeah, the Sons of Legion, incredible band. I'm honored to be part of the team and helping everything I can to help them grow. They went from no fans a year ago to over 4 million, sold out a world tour in under 48 hours, the first independent band to ever do that. And there's a movement there, and I need to see stuff like that. I think we all need to see that type of spiritual or energy replenishment where something good is happening. And the shows are incredible. People are having really religious experiences in these shows. And the sense of familiarity is what's really cool. So the frequency that's utilized in this music, whether at a live performance or streaming it or listening to it, even if you've never heard them before, you have this sense of familiarity and you like it. And it sounds like something you've heard before, which is pretty badass. And then the support that they're getting around the world is incredible. Labels and management companies are trying to figure out how this band came out of nowhere, how they're doing the numbers that they're doing, how they're selling out these venues. They just got asked to open up for Jelly Roll last weekend in Charlotte at Credit One Stadium. So great movement. And what's really cool about Adam and Daddy Jack, the founders of the band, is there and me when I'm involved in those discussions is we tell people no, right? If it's not aligned with this mission-based movement, we don't care how much money you want to throw at it. We don't care how much you want to dangle in it. It's not going to be your typical satanic images and visuals and signs around them. And we speak about this. Adam and I did an interview on iHeart and we talked about this. And I love him for that. He's very advocate and very adamant against this. And so am I. And you know, it's evil is so easy to get sucked into. For me, which has been a detriment to my financial growth and success, I compare the scene from Devil's Advocate, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. There's a scene where the walls are moving and you just see evil in that conversation between Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino. And I experienced that at a young age. I've seen that. I've actually seen exactly what that scene portrays. I've seen it in people's faces. I've seen soulless eyes. I felt just this darkness. And that's when I get up and leave. And people that I think, and no disrespect to people that don't see it, I just think I'm more sensitive to these things for whatever reason. So people that don't see it, they just see money and success, or here's a new condo, here's a car, sign this contract, be under this label, and then they're in this evil empire machine and they have no control over their life. And then a lot of these people have an awakening moment, and then for some reason they disappear, whether they're eliminated or they just become something wild comes out about them and everybody starts hating them. Like you
Mm-hmm.
can't be in that world and try to get out of it because they'll get you every time.
That's right.
But if you can sense it and avoid being in it and just go through a little bit of a harder journey on controlling your life, controlling your IP, controlling your destiny, you're somewhat free and you're not involved in that really disturbing situation. And even now you see all the people that were involved in some of these files, and nothing's happening to anybody. There's no arrest going. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. So
Yeah.
again, there's history there. So as creators or business people or someone who wants to go out in the world and do something, like look at history, be aware, educate yourself, and just you know what to do, which is great, but in my case, I definitely know what not to do, and that's always been more valuable to me. I know what not to do, so I always stuck to those core principles, and then made mistakes, failed, got off my ass, and figured it out. That was a knowing what not to do too. So, um, this is a great conversation because I'm like having a therapy session with you on this. But these are these are the things that have made my life under my control, but also my journey a hell of a lot harder than people that would have been in the same situations as me if they had made different decisions, which I would never go back in time and make those decisions anyway.
Yes. And I love that you called this all out because people still don't believe it. I have I have sat in rooms with shapeshifters, right? So
Yeah.
have you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shadow people, shapeshifters, absolutely.
I mean, I was telling a friend, they make fun of me, but I'm like, okay. But
Yeah.
let me tell you, you have no idea what you're walking up into
Yeah.
sometimes. And I remember I had gone to this woman, and oh my God, Brian, this was in New York. I was going to talk to her because about some project, and I get in there and she opens the door and her teeth were yellow and her eyes were red. And I thought, I'm in like Ghostbusters right now, right? Zool. So I'm like, Carol, you better run. But I don't
The
run, of course.
gatekeeper.
Right? The keymaster. So instead, because I don't know what's wrong with me, like that's the moment where you're like, oh, shoot, gotta go. I'm like, all right, I'll go in. And I get in there and I'm like, this isn't right. Like, this isn't the woman I was talking to on the phone, 4 days
Yeah.
ago. And at some point, I get really like irritated. And she's like, and she says this to me, you will help us. You're going to make a movie and and she starts to tell me this whole like really dark thing. And I don't know. I stood up and I was like, I'm not fucking doing
Good
any
for
of
you.
that with you. And she stands back and I was like, and whoever is like possessing you right now, you tell them to
Good for
unlock this
you.
door and let me out.
I wish
And
I was there. That was
yeah. And
interesting.
she stood it and she's like, we won't let you out unless you say you'll do this movie. I said, you'll let
Oh
me
my
out or you're
god.
going to wish you never met me. And suddenly she steps back and she goes, oh, we've made a mistake. We've made a mistake. You can destroy us. Like it was weird, but she was talking and I'm like, yes,
Good for
I
you.
can do all of that. Now
Yeah.
open the door and let me out. You
Good
know?
for you. No, you sense it. It's like I get nauseous in those moments. Like
Yes.
it. Yes, it's bad.
And
It's
migraines
absolutely bad.
and right? Do you get the migraine? Your body will tell you everything you need to know.
Rejecting. It's rejecting everything about it. But that's only if you're
Instantaneous.
sensitive to it. Because other people would have sat in that room and said, "Yeah, I'll make the movie, no problem." Like it all depends where you're at on your evolution, your frequency, your soul. Um, I'll interrupt you, but I want to say to your point, that's true freedom. True freedom is saying no. The
Yeah.
ability to say no in that situation is, God bless you. That's where every human being should strive to find a place to get to, where you can tell somebody no and not have to take that job because you have to pay a bill or you're sacrificing something. When you can be in a position to say no, whether your morals tell you no or your financial obligations tell you no, they need to be aligned. And that's where I want as many people as possible to be.
Yeah. And you will find people when you stand fully in your
Mhm.
power. as you said this right at the top, you will find people that are in alignment with who you really are, that are on your vibe. I I don't know about you. I've met some of the best people I've ever met through straight up demons.
Oh, that's their purpose. I say this all
Yes.
the time. That was that person's purpose. You have this trauma bond with this other person because you both think that you're smart and you got screwed over by a evil demon, awful person. So immediately you guys are buddies. But
Yes.
again, that was the purpose of that individual, was to bring you together. At least that's how I've always looked at it.
That is 100%. And then they're gone. And you also said this at the top as well, keeping people in your life past their expiration date. So many of us do that. We know it's wrong. We know we don't feel good, but we're afraid.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll be alone, or they won't like me, or I won't ever find a friend like this. Oh, you better hope you never find a friend like this. I remember I had an ex-boyfriend when I was kicking him out of the house, and he's like, Angelique, you ain't never going to find a man like me. I said, that is the point.
Was it Colonel Sanders? Where you go? Where you
He's
going
from
out?
he was from Kentucky. I had an accent.
He was actually
And,
from Kentucky. I was just
yeah,
kidding.
and he was, and and he said that to me, and I was like, "That is the point."
Yeah.
And, he's we were kids when we met, he's not really a demon or anything, but he just wasn't right for me. But I'll never forget that, and I was like, "Yeah, that's what we're doing here, sir. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're making sure we never make this mistake again."
absolutely.
So, we all do it. We all put ourselves in these really bad situations, or as I just said, and by the way, that's not the first time I walked into a room with a demon, pretty sure it was a demon.
Yeah,
And,
you
my
know.
friend's like,
Yeah.
yeah, she's like, "Why do you keep doing this?" Like, when you see the weird face and the eyes and stuff, like, that's your signal to run, and you're like, "Go toward that darkness."
Well, we have curiosity in us, and I always say when you're open to the world and the universe, or the window's open, you're gonna invite good and bad in. That's the deal. And when you spot the bad, you just eliminate it as quickly as possible. And the more season you get, more experience, you just eliminate it in seconds, like you did. But you can't. I don't think you can close off being open and not invite both. I think that's impossible. I don't think
That's
there's a way to do
correct.
it.
'Cause there is a common misconception that the dark is evil, right? Evil and dark are actually different. Evil, it's something that you said in the beginning. It's that choice to do
Mhm.
unkind, hurtful things. But the dark and the shadow and things that go bump in the night are actually designed to show us this contrast because we learn through contrast.
Yeah.
So that in itself is not inherently bad and not something we should be afraid of. What we should be afraid of are people who lack empathy,
Yeah.
people who are violent, people who have no compassion. I mean, you've seen them, I've seen them, like you said it, I think before, the soulless eyes.
Mhm.
People who would hurt another human being, step on
Yeah.
another human being without and just keep going. That I would say that's evil.
Yeah.
That but all those other things that we come up against, and yeah, I will tell you, like I always think that I'm not a demon slayer, but that I reassign them. So I'm like, "Oh, listen, maybe we should have a talk about your demonic ways. Tell me all about it.
Love it.
Let's call cut. Let's make you into the light because, we
You
can
you you're
transform
you're
you."
doing exorcisms out there. I love it.
Oh, oh, like, and yeah. Like like you would never believe sometimes. I I walk out of things and I'm like, "Man, you zigged when you should have zagged." Like,
But I also think, I don't say we, but I'll say we, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think we like a little bit of the entertainment side of it.
yes, of course. Well, wait, and this is where okay, because you and I, if you don't mind me saying, we come from crazy backgrounds.
Yeah. Yeah, say it,
Um,
screaming from the mountaintops,
we
absolutely.
we both have a crazy dad that pretty much could have been the same dad. Brian and I could have had the same father. Like, um, which was like, "Oh, so we're soul siblings."
Yes.
Um, because when you come from that level of chaos and uncertainty and the rug is being pulled out and you're left and you're right, two things can happen. Either you become really, really good at it, like
Yeah, yeah,
balancing,
yeah,
because you ride that wave
yeah.
and you go in every direction possible to not be
Exhausting,
that.
by the way. Exhausting waste of energy, but yes, go ahead, I want
Yes,
it.
but right? or, you become the dark
Yeah.
knight,
Uh,
right? That with which
uh,
you fight against.
yeah.
So we made a different choice. We were like, well, we could be that crazy sociopathic lunatic, or we could take it over here
Yeah.
and express our soul. And I do think that those kinds of family dynamics birth people like us, because I feel like there's so many people who have that story.
Yes, and it's a great bonding mechanism. Like we bonded on that actually
Yeah.
way later into our friendship, but we had that conversation and like, wow, what a moment because I don't get to vent a lot of those things. And my dad was my biggest ally as well as my biggest nemesis, right? At the same time,
Yep.
like weird place to be. Biggest supporter, biggest destroyer. Weird place to be. And I know he loved me. He's generous to a fault with things, but also if he took that generosity, there was complete control. I knew this because I'm youngest sibling by 10 to 14 years. I knew the behavior. I watched the behavior. I know the outcome. So I tried to do the opposite and salvage a father-son relationship to the best that I could. And this is the proof in the pudding with, I don't want to, I think everybody's got levels of bipolarness. I think everybody's got levels of narcissists. But good people can control it and make it very minimal, and bad people just can't control it. So when I did everything opposite that my dad was mad at my siblings for, yet he was mad at me for, that's when I realized there's no win here. There is no way to win his accolades, his consistent data boy, which I never got. But he did say some things to me that looking back, I get why he said it. He said, "Why would I tell you you're doing a good job? That's not my role." And looking back, that made sense. But as a young kid trying to get their father's praise, you want a little bit of a you're doing great, right? We all strive from that from our parents, whether it's a mother or father or some sort of a guardian. You strive for someone acknowledging you that you admire or that you were born into and that you're supposed to love unconditionally and vice versa. And when I was able to very successfully stay who I am, not change, not become bitter for many different reasons, and not need my father's admiration or fondness or positivity because I wasn't getting it. When I was able to do that, magical moment, right? Because definitely walls are up, definitely all types of psychological education on myself, learning about people. I learned about grayscale. I think it's Greystone or I think it's Greystone. So with a narcissist, for example, when you don't give them the meat that they're craving, they get bored of you. When you don't give them the chaos and you don't give them the what they're trying to get out of you, like it actually salvages the relationship because you're not giving them the ammunition to put in their gun that they're firing back at you. Like that's you have to, and all this is exhausting, by the way, because you're still trying to live life. You're trying to build a relationship or a marriage or have your own family. You're trying to be an entrepreneur and grow. Like the last thing you want is your home or your family's home to be unstable, right? And then the other thing I had to learn, I'm going off on a million tangents, but maybe this connects
That's
with
okay.
somebody. I learned two inner circles. I have my professional ride or die inner circles. That's where I share business and maybe deals, maybe not deals, and people that understand the deal could fall through, it could go through, whatever the case may be. And I never bring, well, after many years of getting slayed, never bring any business talk home to your family or your parents or your siblings. Like there should be complete church and state there because they'll use that against you. They'll check in on you. Oh, I thought that deal was going to close. I thought you were getting $1 million wire. Like it's all negative, bad behavior. But if you're not giving them that ammunition to use against you, then your home life can be at least a little bit more pleasant. Where hopefully you can go there and recharge and go out the next day and slay some tigers to eat. But so much stuff I had to learn, and I'm grateful for a lot of the thankfully, it was only verbal abuse or verbal or mental abuse that my dad put me through because it also trained me to spot so many people like him. So many people like him. I spotted them a mile away. I go as far as to say, if you're a man and you're a freaking Libra, we're not doing business together. Like that's how far I'll go with it. Because like I have this complete description of what hell that was like, and I don't want to revisit it. So I try as hard as I can to just keep my world and my life as positive Patty as I can and just get through the day, right? Just get through the day, try to get some sleep, try to feel accomplished, and try to help people. And you said the word before, empathy. That's all I look for in people. If I don't see empathy in a business deal or a new business colleague or a past business colleague, I'm out. If you don't care about people, there's nothing we could do together. Nothing.
Yeah. And that's what it means to really know yourself, to have gone through all of this to know yourself.
Yeah.
That's what fathers like ours actually came here to do. I said this in another podcast, but I truly believe that my father came here to test my shadow.
Mm.
And when they put you up against that test, there is nobody, right? And I mean nobody that you're going to come up against outside of them. That's like they're like yippy dogs
Yeah.
compared to that
So
big,
well said.
right?
So well said. It's true.
So you become yeah, you become so fully armored in your being and your light and your power that and that's a great gift
If
despite
you know
all
how to
the
overcome it,
pain.
yeah. If you have the
Yes.
ability to work through it and apply it correctly to life, yes. But I don't think that's the
Yes.
norm. I think a lot of people that becomes much
The
trauma that
hindrance.
they have to work through. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the sad part of it. And if the part that we could give to anybody is to say that you are not your parent and you are not any of the negative things that your parents said you are. I mean, the we could go on a whole other podcast with that, with what they actually may have said to us that I mean
Oh, things you would never say to somebody that you love.
yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
with that, I think we walk away with take whatever good that was there and amplify it through our lives. And if we would say that some of that behavior and DNA is passed on to us, do everything that we can to correct it, right? And not let it show its ugly face. I mean, that's the best that I can do as a human being.
Yes. And that's how you break the cycle.
Yeah.
You break the cycle when you say, I'm not going to be the pain of my past. I'm going to move forward in my future. Is it easy? No. It takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of strength, but it is possible.
Yeah.
And there's many of us that do it on a regular basis. And I know you and I wrangle myself every now and I'm like, come on now, stop you. You know, get crazy, come back down, relax, relax, relax. Don't get triggered. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
I feel like you and I could go on and on and on and on, but we are coming to the
So,
end and I
real
do
quick, I'm sorry. I want to
go
take
ahead.
does that last piece, you're absolutely
Go
right.
ahead.
And I think because we went there and I wasn't sure if we would, but I think we went there in a tasteful way.
Yeah.
There's what we talked about, but also people need to know this. You said
Say whatever you
you
want.
said break the cycle, but t many people, maybe us as well, that's our norm. We grew up in that environment. That's our norm. And what I'm trying to say in a very tasteful way is don't replace that person with a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a husband, a wife, a friend. Because I
Yes.
think that's very common. I think it's very common if we're trying to break the cycle, but we replace that being that was a consistent force, right? There, whether negative or positive is irrelevant, a consistent force that you're used to, and that's your comfort, and that's what you're been raised around. Don't bring somebody else that resembles that as another replacement, right? And I think I wanted to say that. I think it's important. I don't know if I said it correctly.
You did say it. And no, you said it. And that's brilliant advice to people. And in order to get there, that is, what Brian's talking about is to understand, and I have to say this without getting choked up, but that you are worthy of
Mhm.
love from somebody who is going to treat you well. If you use, excuse me, if you see those patterns and playing out in a relationship, as Brian said, you don't need to stay in those
Yeah.
relationships. You can get rid of those people, move on. Trust us. There are many people out there who will love you and who will be fabulous and treat you
Yes.
with the respect and compassion and love that you need. But he is 100% right. Family, friends, coworkers, business partners, lovers, cut
Yeah.
it because if you don't, to your point, we just repeat the cycle. You can't break it if you continuously go on that negative feedback loop. And that was a really important point, Brian. And I'm glad you brought that up, because
Thank-
there are so many people that repeat and repeat and repeat and bring harm into their circle when they don't need to.
Yeah. Thank you for
Yeah.
saying it better
That
than
was
me. I appreciate it.
no, no, no. You said it brilliantly. I just supported your
Good volley.
idea. No,
Damn good volley.
yes. Yes. Yeah. Because by the way, I'm like that. Like I'm like ba 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 ba, and people are like, and what she's trying to say. Because I tangent. And I think for you, because you are so heart-centered, it's like you're like, wait, this is a really important thing that I've got to get out right now. And it is important. And we've been there, and that's why it's like, I mean, even us, like how we met was crazy. So there's so much in the world that is beautiful if we're choosing to look at it, and we can look at everything from the perspective of, oh gosh, this happened to me. Oh no. Or this happened to me. What can I learn from it? And how can I make my life more spectacular in spite of it?
Beautiful. Preach on. That was
And
beautiful.
yeah, and I think you are living proof of this, my friend. You are.
I'm trying.
And with
Dude, that
everything,
means a lot. So thank you.
yeah, and with everything that you're doing, I know there are going to be people out there who would love to connect with you. Where can they find you? How can they
They can
connect with
reach out
you?
to you and you can filter through them and then they can find me. No, I'm just kidding. Brian J. Esposito everywhere. Socials, you can look me up. I don't have AI. I don't have an assistant. I've always answered everybody back individually. I love doing that. I'll always do that. So anybody reaches out to me, if we touched on something in this great conversation, you want to hear more or want to speak about anything or what you're doing in life and how I can help, please don't be shy. I think it's a very strong place of strength when you reach out to somebody and ask for help. I don't want people to think that's a place of weakness. I think that shows a really strong person. And I always admire and I'm humbled every time I get a note or a call or a message anywhere of anybody that wants to speak with me. So reach out, please.
Oh, I love that. And just so you know, friends, I'm one of the people he's talking about. I never ask for help. So you he's right. And it is a form of something. I don't know. It's a major malfunction.
We got to limit the pride aspect should be washed away because we all need someone. And in my life, unfortunately slash fortunately, strangers or people I know for a short amount of time were actually more important in my life and have done more for me than
Family.
some people that I've known for decades, right? So, you never know who can change your life. That's the beautiful thing about it. You're one text, one email, one call away from everything changing, right? But if you're not out there hustling and trying to make it happen, then that's not an option.
Yeah, and you're 1,000% right. Even when my dad passed away, people who were super close to me, I never heard from them. People
Mhm.
who I didn't interact with as much, the beautiful people in my community online, I was so overwhelmed by the amount of people who reached out, you included. And when you told me, I definitely know what you're going through, and I thought, oh.
Yeah.
And then when I talked to you, and I was like, wow, you really do.
Oh, I know.
So there is something to say that sometimes we think that there's people in the world that like nobody cares about us, but you would be so
Yeah.
surprised how many people you don't even
It's
know
true. True.
actually do.
Yeah.
Oh, Brian, it was so
Ah,
amazing having you on here.
getting emotional.
I
Thank
know.
you.
I feel like we could talk forever. I will probably drag you back on another time.
I would be honored. Thank you.
Yes, and I can't wait to see where your next journey takes you, and we will be following everything that you are doing in this world to make it a better place.
Thank you. And I as well following and praising and cheering you on from the sidelines, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me on Call Cut with Angelique. New episodes drop every Friday. If you like this content, please subscribe, like, share with your friends. And remember, folks, no matter what life gives you, you must always keep shining.